Dear Heavenly Father, God, thank you so much for this time that we get to come together in worship of you together as a family, God. I do pray over Colleen, God, and her health, but at this time, God, I just pray for comfort in her family and the loss of her mother-in-law, God. Please, again, comfort the family, and I just do pray that through this hard time that they can truly see your face all the more clearly, God. I do also pray over the Pikert family, God, and the birth of their new baby boy. Please protect them, be with them, God. And I pray for the rest of this evening and with all of our conversation and all the fun we're going to have, God. Thank you so much, and it's in your name we pray. Amen. Great. Theodore James Pikert was born at 11:45 a.m. today.
All right. Any talking to the mic? All right, cool. So, we're coming into the 21st century with KidCheck. So this is going to be a new sign-in system for Kids Kingdom. We're going digital. This is a long time coming, okay? So we're really excited about this. Today's really meant to be for the parents so that they understand what's to be expected of them. But even if you're not a parent, you probably know a parent in church, so you can make sure that if they're not here tonight, they get this information. It is going to be recorded, and we'll send out this slide deck. We'll send out all this information afterwards. But we're going to go over some important details and some instructions as it comes to the new system. This is actually the same system that Triangle uses as well, so we've got them to kind of lean on to figure things out. I ask that you bear with us because anytime you're implementing any type of new technology, there's always going to be hiccups. There's always going to be things that we just don't anticipate. We're doing our best to be proactive about all of those, but there's going to be stuff that comes up where we just didn't anticipate it. So bear with us, but we're going to go through some basic instructions and overview of what KidCheck actually is. I think we have a video to start. Yeah, so this will be a brief overview of KidCheck itself.
The safety and security of your children is extremely important to us. That's why we've chosen KidCheck as our children's check-in solution. KidCheck's feature-rich, easy-to-use electronic check-in system will improve child security, streamline our check-in process, and provide added peace of mind. It's easy. Parents, create your free KidCheck account. Add your little one's name, photo, and important details, such as those authorized or unauthorized to pick up, and any allergy warnings. Simply check in using your phone number or scannable key tag, creating parent and child labels with matching security codes. These unique codes ensure your child is only released to you or an authorized guardian. KidCheck's intuitive system features the latest technology, lightning-fast check-in, easy attendance tracking, and parent communication tools like emergency text messaging. We're excited about using KidCheck and its many benefits.
All right, so the biggest benefits to this, guys, is really, and really the primary focus behind implementing something like this is for the safety of our children. And so keep that with the understanding of, like, this is really the primary purpose behind it, is we want to make sure that the check-in and check-out process is as secure as possible, that there's documentation through that whole process, so that, we can always know, where people are at, where they're supposed to be, and so that, obviously, so that, if things happen, the church isn't held liable, and we can make sure that we get all the answers that we need. But primarily, it's for child safety. We want to make sure that we can easily create and update the list of people who can and cannot pick up a child. So for those of you who understand the way the system works today, if you sign your kid in, you have to be the one that signs them out. Now it's going to be, as long as you are an approved guardian for that kid, you can check that kid out of class. So grandparents, you can check your grandkids out of class if your parents allow you to do so. There's a way for them to basically put you as an approved guardian. So again, just another way to streamline that process. Adding the photos obviously enhances the security benefit for it, and obviously having all medical allergy information so that teachers are aware of all of that when students do come to class. Yeah, so that's, again, I won't read through it all. I'll send all this out afterwards, but just keep this as the understanding of we're doing this for the safety of our kids to create a more streamlined process for check-in and check-out for the parents, as well as for the teachers as well. But these are, again, just some of the benefits for it.
I want to talk a little bit about why we specifically are excited about KidCheck. No more paper and no more clipboards. Are we excited about that? Like Justin said, no more if you sign them in, you have to sign them out rule. I love the text alerts, so we'll be able to text parents during class, but also I wish we would have had this during COVID because we can go back and text like a group of parents, like give me all the parent phone numbers who had a baby in the baby class because somebody, is sick or something like that. So we can retroactively alert parents and keep everybody in the loop. But yeah, the biggest thing, again, is the security and making sure that we know who is where and when, and it has data collection as well, so we can go back and look if we know something happened on a certain day, we can go back and see exactly who was in that classroom and what happened. So we're really excited about the system. We have one more video about, well, we have two more videos, but we have one more video. The next video is about setting up your account. All right, let's roll it.
Thanks for watching another webisode of KidCheck how-to videos. Today we're going to go over how a parent or guardian can create an account in KidCheck. So from our main website, they can hover over sign up and click on parent/guardian, or you can send them the URL to our login page. From here we'll click create your KidCheck account, and I know I don't have an account, so I'll click I have never used KidCheck before. For the sake of time, I've already entered in the fields here. Make sure you type in the right phone number you're going to be using to check in or check out. You can enable text messaging notifications by selecting your carrier. I'm going to go ahead and leave it disabled for now. A helpful step is to enter in which organization referred you. This is a populating list, so just make sure you select the right organization. But this will help them gather who has signed up for KidCheck for their account. You can still check in even if you didn't select this field. When we're done, we'll hit register, and this will take us to our terms of use. Read through and please hit agree. If you don't agree, you won't be able to create a KidCheck profile. The next page is additional information on how to keep your KidCheck profile as secure as possible. Hit the My Account tab and it'll take us to our profile. The more you fill out, including addresses, the easier it will be on the organization that you check into. To add our kids, we'll click on the Kids tab. We don't have any kids listed here, so we'll click Add a New Child. Again, for the sake of time, I've already filled out all the information, but fill out as much as possible and hit Save Changes. And for all of our guardians and our children, uploading a picture really helps with security. The next step is to add any authorized guardians who are going to be checking in or checking out the children. So from here we'll click Add New Guardian. And we can do a search to see if they already have a profile. I'll type in this person's phone number. Then we'll hit search. This person already has an account, so I can just click on them and add them. However, if they don't have a profile, it'll automatically go to this next page. Here we can create profiles for all of the guardians that are allowed to check in or check out our children. Fill out as much information as possible. That way all they have to do to check in or check out a child is enter in their phone number. So we'll hit save, and then this will be their profile. Again, upload any pictures that we have of them. This will make identification easy on the organization. And that's all there is to it. A note is that my preferences in the upper right. You can change your text messaging options as well as change your username and password. If you have any more questions, please give us a call or refer to our website. Thanks for watching.
Alright, so pretty straightforward. If you want, we're putting this on here mainly for the recording as well, but that's going to be the QR code to set up an account for all your parents. So again, if you know a parent that's not here, encourage them to do this. Make sure that we do this. The first Sunday, and we're going to talk about this a little bit in just a minute, is going to be a little bit hectic because what has to happen is everybody has to be signed in at least once through the main iPad that we're going to be using. And then once you get signed in once, in the future, you'll be able to check your kid in just from your phone. Yeah, more on that later. But again, this is where you could go to create your account, go ahead and get that process started, starting putting in your approved guardians, all that good stuff. You can go to the next one. Again, they explained all this in the video, but making sure that all of the kids that you are in charge of that need to be on the account are on there. You can also, if you have multiple kids, you'll be able to sign them in all at the same time. It'll print off a tag for each of them. Again, more on that later, but making sure all of this information is correct prior to is going to be really helpful. Obviously, on that first Sunday, we'll be helping people who haven't set up account yet to do so. But the more parents that set up accounts prior to that first Sunday, which will be middle of January, the better and the smoother it can go on that first Sunday. So again, even if you're not a parent and you know a parent, I want you to at least try and remind one of them to say, hey, did you sign up for Kid Check yet? Because it's going to make it so much easier on that first Sunday to make sure everybody gets to where they're supposed to be.
Okay, so a couple of things I wanted to note because these are really common questions. Every parent or guardian, as well as volunteers, so anybody who's going to be teaching, needs to create their own Kid Check account. When parents are setting it up, only one parent needs to add their kids, but both parents need to have an account. So then once both parents have an account, the parent that added the kids can go in and add the guardian account that goes to the other parent. Does that make sense? Okay, so then after that, when we set this up, I made the account, I added the kids, and Justin made his account and did not add any kids. And then I just put in that Justin was an approved guardian to check in and check out my kids. And now on his account, under his kids tab, he now has our children. So that was a little bit confusing for me at first, so I just wanted to make that clear. When you're adding approved guardians, just keep in mind that approved guardians can check in or check out your child, and they can also add additional approved guardians. So, as an example, Megan, you're going to be my example. So, Megan and Tramel both have an account, and the kids are on both accounts. So, Beth is going to be picking up the kids sometimes. Once Megan adds Beth as an approved guardian, Beth can then go in and add Frank. Does that make sense? Okay. So just so you know what permissions you're giving when you create an approved guardian. What's the last one? Oh, so just as you can add approved guardians, you can also add not approved guardians. So I know that there are all kinds of family situations sometimes where you need to let the teachers know that there's a certain person that you want to make sure does not have access to your children. So if you have that situation, you can add that as well. And I'll show you what that looks like on their name badge. Okay. Some more important notes. We're wanting everyone to add pictures as much as possible. Just for security purposes, it's going to kind of serve as like a photo ID. If we're saying it's not required, it is recommended. If you don't have a picture and the teacher that's running checkout that day doesn't know who you are, they're going to ask you for an ID to make sure that you are who you say you are. Same thing as like a daycare pickup when it changes, if you're familiar with that. And we're trying to figure out if we can disable youth checkout for our whole account, but for now, it's giving you the option to do that. We don't want to do youth check-in right now. They have a setting where if your child has like a phone, I'm not at this place in my life, obviously, they could check themselves in and out. So maybe for like a middle school teen lock-in or something like that is what I'm visualizing. They would be able to check in and out, like say if they drove themselves so that you would know when they got there kind of thing. But we're not there yet, so don't enable it. And if you do, I can disable it. So just so you know. Let's see. We're going to talk about the first Sunday with Kid Check because it's special, okay? Whoa, child, don't do that.
Okay, I'm going to take this off because I don't like standing in front of this. Okay, so on the first Sunday, like I said, it's going to be a little hectic. I'm warning everybody now. because everybody has to get into the system at least once prior to us being able to do it through what's called the express check-in, which is like through your phone. So the way that you'll sign in, if you already have an account, you'll just come in. There'll be an iPad that will be set up. You'll put in the phone number associated with the account. You select which kids that you're actually signing in. You'll hit the submit button, and then at that point, a label will be printed. And so a couple of things will be printed. One will be a name tag for the child themselves that they'll have and will go into class with. And then the other will also be what's called a guardian receipt. You'll also have access to these guardian receipts in the app as well on your account. But essentially, it's got a security code on it that basically matches the child's name to a specific code so that, again, just another layer of security for the kids themselves. So make sure you put the child's name tag on. If they are in the babies class or the 3 to 5 class, we're going to have the name tags on the back. Okay, so make sure, one, don't put it on a jacket, so no outer clothing. But for this little one, you put it right on the back. But for everybody else, they can wear it on the front. Again, that's just to make sure they're not messing with it and stuff. Yep. Okay, so then, so you'll check the kid in, you'll get the labels, and then from there, during the fellowship break, just like we normally do child check-in, you're something else. You'll go back during the fellowship break, you'll walk the children to their classes who will already be signed in, but you'll still need to go up and verify with the teacher themselves with the guardian receipt to ensure that they're actually being checked into class that day. So just make sure, again, what we want to avoid is a situation where you've checked the kid in and then you're like, all right, we'll go to class. Well, okay, and then they walk outside or they go somewhere else. So you're still required as the parent, even after they've been checked in, to go to the class, present the guardian receipt that matches with the child's name tag so that that handoff is as smooth as possible. Can I get a thumbs up that makes sense? Okay, yeah, right. All right, cool. Okay, and then pickup, same concept. Again, as long as you're an approved guardian on the account, the teachers themselves will be able to see who's approved guardians. This is where the pictures really come in handy as well, so they can make sure that the name matches the photo. But you'll come back with the guardian receipt, either the physical or the digital is fine. And same process will be you'll be able to check the kid out with that. That's good. Whose kids are these?
I don't know. Where are their parents? So here's a visual. So this is an example. These are 2 examples of name badges that would get printed out. So something I want to highlight is that if your child has an allergy or any other medical note in their account, they're going to be highlighted with the black background on their name. You can have public medical information or private medical information. If it's public, it will print on the badge, like my child is allergic to peanuts. If it's something that you don't want printed in black and white on their badge, you can put the account. Am I holding this in the right spot? Is this, no, am I not? Okay. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm better now. What was I going to say next? So, okay, security code. Do we see the security? It's the YUFQ. Do you see that? So it's going to be a combination of letters and numbers. There are 15 million unique codes. So this is what ties the children's name badge to the guardian receipt. Is it starting to connect now? Is it starting to make sense? Okay, so that's that. If their birthday is coming up within 10 days, they will have a birthday cake on their badge, which is fun. If you have put in that someone is not approved, because I don't think that's going to be a typical thing. Yeah, it's not going to say, like, don't let Uncle Billy get my kid. It's going to have I don't have an Uncle Billy, just, okay. It's going to have the warning sign at the bottom, that bottom corner. So as far as teacher training, if you see that, you know that means that there is someone that they have named that does not have access to their kids, so they'll know to look out for that. So, any questions about the children's name badges? We love them, don't we? I don't know what the guitar is. I actually had the same thought. I have no idea. I think it's standard. Could be. So, guardian receipt. We've talked a lot about these. This is what it's going to look like. Your guardian receipt for security purposes does not have your name or your children's name or any kind of information tying the guardian to the child other than the unique security code. The security code will be different every week. So if you dropped yours on the ground and went into service and then someone from the street came in and walked in, they wouldn't know like what classroom to go to get your child or anything like that. So that's the security feature we have for that. I say we have as if I invented this. I didn't. You can access your guardian receipts on your app as well. So if you lose it or put it in your bag and it gets lost, like is definitely going to happen to me, you can pull it up on your app. You can also send it to someone. So if you've got, if I need Kim to go get my kids because I just saw you, I can add her as an approved guardian, and I can text her a copy of the guardian receipt so she has it in case I can't get to her physically for some reason. Volunteer badges. I'm really excited about this. So teachers will have to sign in and check in themselves as well. So when you see a teacher with their name tag on, this means that they have been authorized by us to teach your kids. It means they've had a background check. You know that they're supposed to be there. And if they don't have one on, let one of us know because they should. This gives us that historical data that I'm really glad that we're going to have so that we always know what teacher was in what class on what day. Before you start this, so Justin went over the first Sunday sign in and checkout process. You can always do that, but there's always the potential for there to be a line at the iPad, and then we have, a bottleneck. So to eliminate bottlenecks, we have Express Check-in where you can check in on your phone, and you can do that once you've checked in on the iPad at least once. Does that make sense? So that ties you to our organization, and then you can go from there. So roll it.
Welcome to another webisode of KidCheck How-To Videos. Today we're going to cover how parents check in through the Express Check-in app. The video will be demonstrated on an iPhone, but the steps will be very similar for Android. Before you can use Express Check-in, you'll have to have checked into your organization at least one time before. Also, your check-in will not be complete until you arrive at your organization and select the Submit button near a PrintHub Express station. So let's get started. The first step, you'll have to download the KidCheck app from your App Store. Once downloaded, select the KidCheck app. Log into your profile, and in the lower left, select the check-in option. Select Use Express Check-in, and here we can start our new check-in. This page will show all of our organizations we've checked in before, so choose the corresponding one. If there's multiple campuses, you'll have to choose the corresponding campus. In most cases, you'll just skip to the next part. Here we'll choose the template or the program that we're going to check into. So in this case, the Sunday 9 a.m. service. And I'll select my children, as well as the location that they're going to check into. I could also choose the number of labels that print off, as well as add any note or special instructions to be printed off on that name badge. If you're authorized as a volunteer or worker at your organization, you will also have the option to check in through the Express Check-in app. Just select yourself and the location that you're checking into. If you have listed authorized guardians, you can choose who's going to pick up your child. You could also choose how many guardian receipts you want to print off. Then when you hit next, it's going to go to a screen that's going to look for the Express Check-in station at your organization. In the event that the Express station is not set up at the organization, you can choose the manual option to use a QR code to scan at a kiosk to check in. You could also select the check-in summary to edit your check-in or start over. Once you're within range of that station at your organization, the button will turn green and you can submit your check-in. This will process the check-in as well as print off your name badges. And that's all there is to it. If you have any questions, please refer to our website or give us a call. Thanks for watching.
steps for signing in with Express Check, and I'm not going to read these. These are for us to look at later if we need to. Is everybody okay with that? Okay. Once more with feeling. Okay, so this is the part where I have tried to think of what your questions are going to be, because I can't stand here and take questions for the rest of the night. So, what about visitors? Visitors can always check in on the iPad. They don't have to create an account. They'll just have to put in their information and their children's information, and they will get a name badge and everything like everybody else. I think the child's name badge will have a star on it, right? Just to let the teachers know that this is their first time in class. So that's the what about visitors. Do I still have to walk my child to class? Yes. The name badge means they're already checked in. I know. Please still walk your kid to class. I love that. Okay, thank you. Even if they're in middle school, I still want you to walk them. I know. At least for now. I reserve the right to change my mind for middle schoolers, but if they're going back there, I don't want floating kids back there. Do I have to make an account? No, you don't. You're probably going to want to, but you don't have to. If you don't want to make an account, that's fine. You can check in on the iPad the same process as a visitor, and you'll have to put in your information and your child's information week after week. There's not going to be an option for a write on a piece of paper, sign in, because we're not going to be keeping track of those anymore. Do I have to download the app? No, you do not have to download the app. If you don't have the app, you cannot do the express check-in. But it is faster to check in on the iPad if you already have an account set up, because you just put your phone number in, and then it'll pull in all your information. So if you don't want to mess with an app, you don't have to. You also won't have access to the digital Guardian receipts. You'll just have to rely on the receipts that print out and keep track of it. And some people are good at keeping track of stuff. I'm just not one of those people. Wanted to quote Ephesians 4:2, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love, we will all transition to Kid Check. I changed the end. So we're very excited about this. I think it's going to be a huge improvement to the whole process, but I do expect that the first Sunday for sure is going to be interesting. So we appreciate everyone's patience in advance. Justin and I are planning to run the sign-in table situation for a while, and then have a volunteer from the children's ministry. The snack person is also going to become the sign-in person. Diana Wilson is very excited to do this for our next rotation. So our next teaching rotation starts on January 19th. That is the day that we're going to roll this out. I want to give you all plenty of time to set up your accounts ahead of time. I think we're going to be able to set up accounts day of on site if you need to do that. But I don't want you to need to do that. Does anybody in here have a baby in the baby class? Okay, so this is for online only then. Hello, on YouTube, if you have a baby out there. I want you to print 2 children's name badges. It gives you the option of how many name badges you want to print. I want you to print 2 of them, and I want you to put one of them on your baby, and I want you to put the other one on your diaper bag, so that we know what diapers and supplies go with what child. You can put a note on there you can put a note on there for anything, when they need a diaper change, or if you want us to get you for any reason. I can't think of anything else to say. Are there any burning questions that you feel like applies to everyone? Yes. That's a good question. So every teacher needs the Kid Check app, because teachers are going to be required to sign in. I say that. All the teachers are going to be required to have a Kid Check account, and they'll need to check themselves in as a worker when they come in. Mm-hmm. Yes. And that'll come to me, and I'll be able to approve or not, which I think you're approved already, but I'll go in. I can go in and approve you. I was going to say one other thing about that. Oh, there is a separate app for the admin console, and when you are running checkout, when you're the teacher running checkout, you'll also need the Kid Check admin console app, but only one teacher per class needs to have that app. And that's the one that will give them access to who signed in, verify that they made it to class, and verify that they got out of, that they were checked out of class. But that'll all be part of the very long teacher training that's going to happen this year. So thank you for everyone that signed up for the first rotation. And keep in mind, there's a lot of people that don't have kids that volunteer to teach. And so like once the second rotation comes, none of those teachers will have used it on the teacher side before. So I feel like the parents will all kind of know how to work it by then, hopefully, mostly. But we're going to get new crops of teachers this whole coming 2025 who have never used the app before. So keep that in mind as we rotate through teachers. Is that it?
Yeah. Any other questions, though?
You guys are, yeah. Yes. Yes. Once they're checked out, do with it what you will, but please don't put it on the floor. Yeah. Yes.
Not a question, but maybe a word of encouragement, because our daughter and son-in-law use this system in Triangle, and they don't just tolerate it, they love it. They think it's really
Did you hear that, guys? They love it.
and I think is worth a, it's going to take a little transition.
Yeah.
I hear that part, but once you get on the other side of the transition, so much simpler, so much more orderly, and so much safer.
So for the YouTube audience, I just want to make sure that this gets communicated. Randy Jordan just shared that his daughter and son-in-law love the Kid Check sign-in, check-in situation at the Triangle Church. So just keep that in mind. Yes. Uh-huh. I think they're account specific. So each account has their own email address. Yep. And you both need an account, and please don't make a shared account. Thank you. Is that it?
By the way, the guitar is just a special logo. You can put anything in there.
I can put anything.
You can put it in there, yeah.
I can put anything I want.
Piedmont Triad tree on there.
Nice.
I think. You'll have to check. It's got to do with
We can talk to our Kid Check people. I had one other thought. Oh yeah, just for parents' peace of mind, because this is something that I was thinking about. The teachers with the admin console, they don't have access to all your kids' information if they're not in the building. So once they go home, that's what I meant. If they're not checked in. So once they're checked out, the teachers can't just go home and like data mine all your kids' information or anything like that. So
Not that they would.
they're all background checked, but you never know. There's a first time for everything. Okay, thank you for hanging with us. I appreciate it. Appreciate you all, especially the people that this didn't even apply to. So you guys did great. Amazing. Yay.
Amen. So, at this time, we are going to do our 12 days of Christmas. So, for those who have not participated in this before, I've only done it once, so bear with me too. And you guys who have done it many, many times can help me explain it. But we're going to break up into 12 different groups. Each group will be assigned a day number. And what you will do as a group is come up with some sort of event, some sort of object that is in association with something that went on here, something that is in the building. The one that comes to mind was last year we had one snake get into the sanctuary. So the first day of Christmas was one snake in the sanctuary. So each group is going to be responsible for coming up with their number and whatever event or thing that goes on with the Piedmont Triad Church. Does that make sense? Great. I did a rough count. It should be about 7 people per group, maybe 8. So if we could just break into groups of 7 in groups where you are. Do you have anything to add? Thoughts? Questions? All right, yes, try your best to break up into 7 or 12 groups of 7-ish. Just immediately around you.